Hi, everyone. Ellen Desmond here with the Bureau of Student Wellness at the New Hampshire Department of Education. And today I'm going to walk you through the Promising Futures for New Hampshire Funding Opportunity Announcement and Application. We just announced this on October 28th and have slowly been rolling out some more information to try to support LEAs as they consider applying for this opportunity. So our learning goals for this webinar today are really giving you just an overview of the goals of the project and eligibility. We'll go over the scope of the work that should be outlined in an application. We'll go over the allowable activities and expenses. We'll talk about the application process and address a few frequently asked questions. So the goal of Promising Futures for New Hampshire is to provide financial support to New Hampshire school districts, and that really could be an individual school within a district, could be a public charter school as well, to advance the development and expansion of strategic prevention efforts within schools and community systems. This funding has been made available to us through the Bureau for Drug and Alcohol Services at the Department of Health and Human Services. So it really is an interagency project. We are also working with and being supported by the New Hampshire National Guard. So it's an opportunity for us as a state to really model the collaboration that we are hoping to see to advance prevention in schools and their supporting communities. The performance period of this grant is December 1st of this year through June 30th of next year. So it is a short period of time really meant to jumpstart an initiative and really lay the groundwork for MTSSB implementation and the exploration that needs to come before really fully buying in and adopting the MTSSB framework, which we'll talk a little bit about. We are anticipating granting at least 10 awards. Awards are not to exceed $50,000 each. And the caveat to that is that if LEAs are interested, they certainly may add an additional $5,000 request if they are interested in hosting for developmental assets or developmental relationships training provided by the Search Institute. So I mentioned this a little bit. Any New Hampshire LEA, local education agency, including traditional public schools or public chartered schools, is eligible to apply. The work can be at the school or the district level. So you may be in a really tiny LEA with maybe 1 or 2 schools. You may have a few schools that want to kind of band together to implement the same prevention strategies. You may not be at a place where that's doable and really want to start small and maybe kind of hone in on one particular school. Or you could choose to implement something, propose to implement something at the full district level. The key to that, as you apply and consider applying, is to really think about the readiness, willingness, and the needs of your individual schools, especially in light of everything that schools are managing right now due to COVID-19. Certainly consider the capacity that your staff members have, that your administrators have, that your community partners have before applying, and really make sure everyone has the buy-in and has the excitement that you have to carry out the project successfully. We will be selecting at least one district, one LEA recipient from each of our 5 educational regions, our DOE regions: the North Country, Lakes region, the Southeast, Southwest, and South Central. Some of the allowable activities and expenses that you certainly could write into a proposal would be supplies to support a universal prevention strategy or a program. You could consider professional development, so training opportunities, capacity building. You could consider purchasing and implementing a new curriculum that supports the work, prevention work. You could consider rolling out a public awareness campaign, and you are able to write in compensation in the form of stipends. That would be for something like substitute pay. So if you are, doing a training and individuals from your staff need to be out of the classroom during their contracted hours, you could pay for a substitute, or it could be pay above and beyond contracted hours for those who are attending a training. The total stipends, though, should not exceed 20% of your award request. The intention of that is really to apply the money, the funds to building the strategy, the prevention strategy. Here are a few examples. This is certainly not a complete list, but you might want to consider focusing your efforts on vaping prevention and public awareness, trauma responsive schools, suicide prevention, school violence prevention or threat assessment programming, bullying prevention, substance misuse prevention, mandated reporter training, or implementing a universal screener. Some of the more specifics, some of the, the programming or the initiatives that you might be interested in doing a little bit more research on could be implementing either surveys or trainings through the Search Institute. And again, you can request an additional $5,000. We have those funds to support developmental assets and developmental relationships trainings. You may want to write in youth mental health first aid training or train the trainer. The Campus Radio Initiative is in collaboration with Sergeant Rick Frost at the New Hampshire National Guard. You may want to look into crisis prevention intervention, CPI. It's a training program and certification process. You may want to look at LEAD or DARE, Choose Love, Life of an Athlete, Botfin Life Skills, Too Good for Drugs or Too Good for Violence through the Mendez Foundation, Lion's Quest, or the Good Behavior Game. And again, just a few suggestions that we have seen implemented throughout New Hampshire LEAs. Certainly not an exhaustive list, and we don't endorse any of these particular programs, but certainly feel that they are, in line with the goals of the grant. All right, so now I want to walk you through the application. You can find these in the FOA and application link on the New Hampshire Department of Education website, specifically on our webpage. So if you go to education.nh.gov/OSEW, OSEW, you will find it listed there. There is also a fillable PDF, so you can download that and save it to a computer, so you don't have to try to convert it or anything. So you should find that there. So I just want to walk you all through this. It's important, obviously, that we have the contact information. So please fill out the local education agency name, the name of the person completing the application, the role or the title of the person who is completing the application, and that individual's contact information, the phone number and email address, the name of the superintendent. If you're a public chartered school, please list the board chair's name there. And then the district task lead and that individual's role comes next. And that is really the point of contact for this grant. So it may be the person filling out the application. It may also be someone who is in a role where it would be fitting for them to take on really managing the implementation of this grant should you be awarded. And then please list the name of any collaborative community partners that you plan to write into your project proposal. Next, we're wondering how many schools are in your district. So that would be total. How many schools will be participating in this project specifically? And then give us the student population per school at those participating schools. Please include the name of those participating schools and give us the name of the administrator who would be overseeing the management of that. And then you can also include the website if you would like to your district or your school or LEA, public charter school. And then please have the person who is completing the application sign and date. So it's important just to note that even if an individual school is hoping to apply, that the LEA, the district itself, should be the one filling out the application. The purpose of that is that we really want to see district administrative buy-in and ensure that it's not a siloed or a standalone effort at the school level. Appendix B is the project implementation and evaluation plan. Certainly, if you don't feel like you have enough room here to fully explain your efforts, you are welcome to attach additional narrative. The idea behind this is to give us a brief summary of what you hope to do. We would like to see we'd like to see you list all of the activities that you're proposing within the award should you be granted, and demonstrate a need for increased universal prevention strategies, the connection to long-term prevention efforts that have been in place in your LEA, including multi-year plans or systems development and integration, a plan to effectively evaluate outcomes, and then any other connections that you have to community efforts that would be applicable to the application. If you are applying for funding in high schools or a high school, please include your plan to implement the Good Life app. You can find more information about that both on our website, or you are welcome to navigate specifically to this website right here, nextupgoodlife.com. You can go to the App Store and download it for free.
Welcome to Good Life, where people can come together to better themselves and their communities. Here, you can check in with yourself, complete and manage daily goals, engage with helpful activities, and see stories from people just like you and me. You can create and join communities where you can interact with other good lifers near and far. In your communities, you can share your favorite stories, activities, and questions to spread positivity or some insight. Good Life will notify you when anything happens in your communities to keep you up to date and connected. Don't forget to check in every day and complete your goals to take the next step to the good life.
So definitely check that out and explore if you haven't already done so. It is a New Hampshire homegrown application for devices and would be very fitting for New Hampshire high schoolers. And so we would love to see how you plan to implement the introduction and sustain the use of the Good Life app with high schoolers in your community. Next is the implementation and evaluation timeline. So please include the planned activities and the evaluation measures, making sure to document the project schedule deadlines that are outlined in section 1B of the FOA. Again, you are welcome to kind of blow this up if you want. It's a little bit small of a space to try to document your entire evaluation plan. So you are more than welcome to attach an addendum and really explain in detail what you are hoping to measure, how you will monitor those outcomes, and in what time frame. The next appendix is Appendix C, School District and Community Needs. It's really important that you are able to demonstrate your community needs and gaps at both the population and the program level. So we are looking to hear from applicants about the data that they gather and what that data tells us. So you may choose to use your YRBS data. You may choose to use ODRs, office discipline referrals free and reduced lunch figures, demographic data, if you've done a disparities impact analysis, really anything that demonstrates the need and has the data, qualitative and quantitative, to back it up. Next, I want to talk about readiness. The applicant must demonstrate community-wide readiness to engage in these strategies universally. And community engagement with students, families, educators, child-serving organizations, municipalities, etc., is central to maximizing efforts and ensuring long-term sustainability. And of course, what we're aiming for is positive outcomes for children and youth. So there are a few different ways that we have broken this down that we would like to hear from applicants. First is mission and vision alignment with the proposed activities in the application. So we want to know, what has your school district or your entity, your local education agency, what's your mission and vision, and how does the mission and vision play into what you're proposing in this application? How is it really bringing it to life? Please also describe your district, again, your LEA, whole school multi-tiered framework to address social and emotional wellness, which includes the prevention of risky behaviors like substance misuse and the promotion of protective factors among the student body. You may not have a formal adoption of MTSSB actively in place, and that is totally okay. That really is the purpose of this grant, to jumpstart MTSSB exploration. So it is not our expectation that school districts or schools are in a place where they are fully committed to the MTSSB framework, but it is our hope that there has been at least an awareness of MTSSB implementation and some of the foundational elements of MTSSB in terms of connecting the threads between universal prevention strategies, some of those targeted strategies, and then intensive strategies for students who are most in need. And then MTSSB as a whole is not just about the strategies, but really about the strings between all of those strategies and the way that we set up the infrastructure. So it's about the community partnerships. It's about youth voice, family voice, an intentional trauma-sensitive approach, really living those system of care values. So in the ways that are most applicable to your LEA or your school, demonstrate to us by way of this application, what are you doing right now at a universal level or a targeted level or an intensive level, and how do those things hang together in your community? What kind of family engagement strategies are you employing? What kind of youth voice strategies are you employing? And how do those things relate to each other? So you'll see family voice is next, then youth voice. And then we would love to know about the development of community partnerships and collaborations as well. So again, really living those system of care values within the context of multi-tiered systems of support for behavioral health and wellness. Next is willingness to engage. So it's vital that there is buy-in from all relevant stakeholders, including students, families, educators, and community members. So describe your existing communication strategy and the ability to share not just the opportunity about this project through its implementation, but really the measurable outcomes and your plans for evaluation, making sure that there's a feedback loop so all relevant stakeholders are getting the full picture of the work and how it is impacting youth. The next appendix is the budget and budget justification. Like I said earlier, you are welcome to attach a different document if it is easier to work with that way. However, it does need to have the same information. So we do need to ensure that there's a column for items or activities, that you have some narrative justification, that there is an explanation of the calculation, and then the total cost of those activities as you list them. Further, they should be categorized by these buckets here: salary, benefits, if you are taking money, again, to stipend, and part of that is making up benefits that does need to be broken out. And then supplies and contractual. Supplies is also, it could be paying for trainings as well, unless you are contracting with an individual or an organization to provide those trainings. And then that, of course, would go under contractual. But if you're paying for, a license for something, or actual curriculum materials, or paying a registration fee for a training, then that would go under supplies. As a reminder, we are planning to award at least 10 awards of up to $50,000 each. So your total request can be anything up to $50,000 if in the budget and in your implementation plan, you are also interested in Search Institute trainings, you are able to request an additional $5,000 toward that effort. The next appendix is Appendix G, Administrative Commitment. This is vital, again, so we know we've got that buy-in and a full understanding of the project, its requirements, and really is giving their endorsement and support for the activities, the engagement, and the evaluation that has been described. You are welcome to add additional lines for any additional community partners, any other relevant stakeholders and decision makers that should be signing off on this. So a few of the frequently asked questions that we have gotten thus far. One of them is the application inquiry deadline the same as the application deadline? No, it is not. So through this FOA process, it really mirrors our RFP process with vendors. And in that process, there is a window of time where vendors can ask questions of the organization that is putting out that RFP. So it's very similar to that. LEAs with questions about the actual grant or the process or anything like that are welcome to ask questions or submit questions to me via email or give me a call before Friday, October 30th at 4 p.m. And then they can expect getting a reply from me by November 2nd. That's Monday at the end of by the end of the day. The application deadline is November 6th. So we do anticipate potentially extending that deadline. We would really like to give folks enough time to put together a thoughtful, collaborative proposal. And we will keep folks posted both on our social media channels and on the website if we are in fact able to extend that deadline. Another question, can community organizations apply? So the official applicant needs to be a local education agency. The New Hampshire Department of Education does not grant subgrants to community organizations. However, we would love to see collaboration between community organizations and schools and districts. So please, LEAs, talk to your community partners. Community partners, please reach out to your LEAs and have those conversations and talk about the ways that you can work together to support the initiatives that are needed and desired. As some of you may know, our wonderful MTSSB consultants have offered up some slots of time the week of November 2nd to help kind of be thought partners to think through some initiatives, strategies that may be of interest to you in terms of writing them into your application. And one of the questions that we are anticipating is, does working with one of those MTSSB consultants from our office guarantee that a grant will be awarded? The answer is no. It does not in any way give you a leg up. Those consultants are not going to be on our scoring team, but it does provide you with an opportunity, to make a connection with these 3 consultants, and also gives LEAs an opportunity to, again, like I said, just have kind of that dialogue about the best way to fold some of these universal prevention strategies into a much larger system. And then finally, what's the best way for me to submit my application? You can do so by using the fillable application PDF, which is on our website. And it is also linked if you are a newsletter subscriber. It is linked in the newsletter that was sent out on Thursday evening. So you're welcome to open that up. Please make sure that you save it to your device because it will not auto save for you. And then you can take that completed application and it can be emailed directly to me, Ellen Desmond. You can find my email pretty much anywhere on the website. I'll also say it here. It is Ellen, ELLEN, .c.desmond, DESMOND, @doe.nh.gov. You can email that to me by the application deadline. Please, in the subject line, we would love it if folks wrote the name of their LEA and then referenced Promising Futures for New Hampshire as well, just as an easy way for us to find it and make sure that it gets to the right places as well. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully some of your questions were answered. You feel a little bit more confident in completing this application should you wish to apply. If you have more questions specifically about the grant or the application process, please reach out to me. If you're interested in talking shop a little bit with our MTSSB consultants, check out their technical assistance time slots, and you can register for one of those, hop on the Zoom call, and then get some ideas and maybe process through what you may like to include in an application. We hope to see a lot of you apply. We're really excited about kicking this off with our partners at BDAS and the New Hampshire National Guard. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing all of your wonderful preventative proposals. Thank you.